Good afternoon, everyone. Benjamin Dixon, host of the Benjamin Dixon Show, just with some breaking news for TYT. President Trump just did a press conference in the last few hours. And in that press conference, he said that it's very possible, because of the post office, that America wouldn't know the results of the election for months or even years. And he started laying out the case, obviously erroneously, counterfactual to all the evidence, that ballots would be lost, that it just would be something that would eventually lead to us not knowing who would be the president. Here's the problem with this, is I don't think we're getting the kind of response that's necessary from the people who could actually do something about this, Congress. Because I'm not really sure what people are waiting on. Donald Trump has shown that he's willing to absolutely break and bend the Constitution. He's absolutely willing to break all of our institutional norms. Everything that makes America America, he's willing to violate it in order to pacify his ego, quite frankly. And so the idea that people are waiting to see what Donald Trump will actually do, like, we really shouldn't wait till election night, right? We see what he's doing with the post office. We see what he's done with his Republican appointee, a Republican donor, Postmaster General DeJoy, and how they have intentionally sabotaged the post office. We see post office drop boxes being removed off the streets. He's laying out the case that he has every intention of using his political power right now to seize and maintain power after the election by undermining the election, by undermining our ability to vote through mail-in. Also, by sowing all of this confusion, right? And getting his base riled up. You know, conservatives will go with Donald Trump no matter what. So if he says that there's something wrong with mail-in ballots, despite the fact that he himself just got a mail-in ballot, then he knows conservatives will go along with them. So my question really isn't about Donald Trump. It's really about the people who absolutely have the power to do something about it. Nancy Pelosi, like, what are we waiting on? Quite honestly, what are we waiting on? They need to be calling Congress. The House of Representatives needs to call Postmaster General DeJoy to Congress. They need to not only call him, they need to subpoena him to testify before Congress. And if he refuses to do that, then they need to use the power of Congress to hold him in contempt of Congress. Because everything has been laid out. Donald Trump has demonstrated what he's willing to do. He is willing to engage in authoritarian practices in order to maintain his grip on power. He's willing to appoint his friends into power so that they can sabotage all of the administrations that they are part of, all of the institutions that they join. They intentionally sabotage it. So we've seen a track record. So the real question is, what are people going to do about it besides just tweet? Mean tweets. Mean tweets won't stop authoritarianism. Mean tweets will not stop authoritarianism. I want to pull up a tweet from Nancy Pelosi. And this is really my concern. My concern is that we're on Twitter talking about it, but we're not doing anything. Nancy Pelosi said the Postal Service is a pillar of American democracy. President Trump's assault on the USPS threatens to starve it of the funds that it needs to deliver America's absentee ballots. The president's actions and even his own words confirm he needs to cheat to win. Hashtag don't mess with the USPS. We don't need a hashtag. Nancy Pelosi, we need you to use the power of the House of Representatives and your power as the Speaker of the House to subpoena the Postmaster General and anyone else for that matter, right? If you know these things, if she really believes that these things that she's saying is true, then these are also impeachable offenses. I don't think that we should, no, let me say it more affirmatively. There's absolutely no reason in the world for us to wait until November 3rd to see if Donald Trump is serious about everything that he's saying in terms of obstructing this election, and that we won't know for years. Obviously, if he thinks that we won't know who the president is for years, his assumption is that he's going to remain in power for that time. So we're dealing with an aspiring dictator. We're dealing with somebody who has no regard for the Constitution. He has no regard for norms and our institutions. He will see America burn down for the sake of his ego. And to that end, the House of Representatives, which we have control, Democrats have control over, they need to do something about it. Absolutely need to do something about it. All right, so I just want to give you that breaking news. This was the president today, and this is what he was saying in his press conference, and this is exactly what I believe. I believe him. I absolutely believe him, and I think that everyone else should believe him and take him rather seriously when he says that he doesn't think that we're going to know the results of the election until months or even years. We cannot afford to wait until he executes on that. In fact, he's already executing on that. And so we need all of our elected representatives to use their power, not Twitter. I use Twitter. I use Twitter pretty good. I get stuff done on Twitter. But if I was an elected if I was a Speaker of the House, absolutely would use the power of the Speaker of the House to make sure that the President of the United States does not violate the Constitution and install himself as a would-be dictator. All right, Benjamin Dixon, just with this breaking news for TYT, Benjamin Dixon of the Benjamin Dixon Show. I am on YouTube. Check it out. Thanks so much, and stay active.